we hear the cry of Mr. Kasanda Shadrick. He was being forced into the vanet and he was like, we don't punch. Don't force me like as though I'm a criminal. I'm not a criminal.
I'm not a criminal, yeah.
I'm not a criminal.
Even as they intruded his house, or maybe they were doing their routine search towards the matter at hand. He was asked by one of the journalists to say, do you feel safe?
No. Do you feel safe, Mr. Cassandra?
No.
Let him have a word.
And he said, no, I don't feel safe. Where have you been taken? He's like, I don't know, but I don't feel safe. He was publicly putting out his money, flaunting it on social media, meaning he's got nothing to hide, people.
He's got nothing to hide.
He's got nothing to hide. Aziwa.
Welcome back to the M&J podcast. We went on a short commercial break and we ended on a very hot topic.
Hot Nyokupia. It's the current topic which is trending.
And here's the thing about that topic is it's a little controversial because there's a lot of political leaders that are talking about it, like Chibuke Tayali Malo.
Yeah, Tayali has been going at it for a while.
People say he's a man that's seeking political power and he's trying to get into the UPND good books by defending the
government,
sitting government. Do you think it's just because he's a smart man and is able to read between the lines to say that the present government is not involved, or perhaps he's trying to get into good records with them so that he may be a part of the UPND in the future?
You know, all he knows is politics at this point. So it's I think it's wise to assume that he wants to get in good ties so that he can get back. And we've seen a lot of politicians switch teams with who has power.
Yeah.
They don't have any loyalty. Loyalty doesn't mean anything to them. If you lose as the candidate, they'll jump on the next ship. If the ship which is happening is PF, they'll be in that ship until it sinks, and they'll jump on the bull, UPND, and so on and so forth. So I think, he's just, his observations may be true or not, but at the end of the day, it's just trying to get favor.
Can you give us a run-up on what really transpired? And you're doing the research off of the Galaxy Note 20 Ultra.
Note 20 Ultra.
5G. Please give us a run of what really happened on what particular day. And
the particular day, I think particular day I wouldn't be able to pinpoint that particular day, but I'll just say weeks prior.
Yeah.
Weeks prior, I think 2-3 weeks ago. Yeah, 2 weeks, 3 weeks ago, there was a mysterious gold which was intercepted at the international KK International Airport, and upon that mysterious gold, I think a week or so passed with we just got reports of mysterious gold. It was flashing all over social media. I was like, where is it coming from? Where is it coming? But days prior, there were videos which were circulating. Okay, that was my first time ever seeing those. This man in public eye. I didn't know that we had a man like that. There was it was a Chilanga Murilo, and he was splashing money, like bricks of dollars, just splashing them at that point. And these two stories will merge after the gold was discovered. Yeah.
Okay.
So.
How?
So. Up until now, there are people who have been apprehended towards the same story, the mysterious gold, which starts, like, if I'm reading from the article that I saw from Facebook. So the first person who was apprehended apparently on this whole thing was the pilot, was the first Zambian arrested. His name was Patrick Patrick Kawanu Jr., who works for Muhagani airline. So that was the first person who was apprehended in the story.
So the pilot was first apprehended?
Yeah, the pilot was firstly apprehended, and his story went like, according to him, this is the statement that he has so far, he had given so far. He said he was brought into the deal after being told that it was an opportunity that would change his life forever.
Okay.
Yeah, and he was convinced by the Mahogany airline owner, who is Jim Belemu. Yeah,
serious?
Belemu. That's the name, right?
Belemu,
Yeah, Jim Belemu. That's the owner of the Mahogany airline. That was the one who pitched apparently the pilot to say, you know, you have to do this. It's a game changer.
Yeah.
And who wouldn't drop the offer?
For your boss, I say, we're taking it.
So yeah, apparently he name dropped because obviously the name of the boss came up, who's Jim Belema.
Belema.
Now the Jim Belema guy's name, apparently, rumor has it that this guy is also connected to the president. He's a friend of the president.
friend of the president?
Yes.
Okay.
He's a friend of the president.
The owner of Mahogany Airlines, Jim Belemu, is the friends with the president.
He's friends with the president. That's where the stories of the name of the guy, what's his name?
Frederick
Tayali comes in, where he was now saying, just because these people know each other doesn't mean that the government or the president was involved. Because if the president was involved, do you honestly think that the police would have intercepted that gold? So that's Tayali's statement on his official page on Facebook, what he was saying. To say he was challenging the Zambians to say, do you think that if the president was involved, that transaction would have been intercepted by the police, who are controlled by State House?
Yes.
So that's what he says, right?
He's got a valid point, though.
Yeah, you might say so. So Jim Belema and Yusuf Zamla. Yeah, I think
that's obviously an Arabic guy.
Yeah. So and Yusuf Zamla, these are the owners of the same airline.
Mahogany Airline.
Yes, Yusuf Zamla's story goes like this. So Yusuf Zamla is the owner of Zambian plane. Is the owner of the Zambian plane is registered under the name King Air, which had gold on board to be exchanged with cash for the foreign jet, obviously, which was being in transit.
Okay.
So I don't know if now the airline is owned by the Belema guy, and then the plane was apparently owned by Yusuf, yeah,
Okay.
which was supposed to transact with the alleged foreign jet. Right. So these are the people. These are the names of the people which have been apprehended so far, starting with the pilot and the Mr. Jim Belema and Yusuf Zamla. And there's these two people so far, right? The third person who was apprehended was Oswald Dangoma.
Why?
This is the name. Help me.
Oswald Diangamo.
Diangamo. So Oswald Diangamo, currently according to this article, he's currently not employed of the Zambian government. He is prominently he's a businessman in short. He's just a businessman. And the third person is the person that everybody is talking about, who's Shadrick Kasanda.
Mr. Cassandra. King Cassandra, the D.
Yeah, Shadrick
Calling
Kasanda.
the king.
So firstly, it starts with how he was flashing money on social media.
Yeah.
And if you go on Facebook, you would see that there were him posing with gold.
Yes.
Yeah, in his office, they are posing with gold, and there was a dramatic. I think one of the dramatic stories that he was talking about, where he was accusing the the preacher. I don't know how you call it.
Yes, the preacher, Mr. Shepherd Bushi.
Mr. Shepherd.
Prophet Shepherd Bushi.
Prophet Shepherd. He was allegedly caught in the web of doing business with him. So the story goes like Bushiri was claiming that he was scammed by this man, and the man was also was claiming in the video to say Bushiri was the one who scammed Mr. Shepherd.
Do we know the facts? Apparently, he was
arrested.
Incarcerated
Yeah, he was
for
arrested.
8 months.
8 months in the prison.
Behind bars
In South
the
Africa.
South African prison. And according to the video that I saw, it's like when you steal and you're hiding something when somebody steals something that you were hiding, you cannot go out and say, nanga ichi chintu
Now these, you can't. Yeah, you can't.
You can't.
You can't actually. It's hidden, so nobody is supposed to know about it.
Exactly. So that gold deal with Bushiri and Cassandra, we'll never know what the truth was.
True.
Did he fail to deliver when he was paid the money, or did he deliver and not paid? But nobody's a fool to deliver a product minus payment.
Apparently, according to him, in that statement, the video that was released by him and his comrades, he was claiming to say he delivered the gold and he was supposed to receive the money. According to the transactions of that magnitude, there's a process at which they do it. So the verification of whether the gold is authentic or not had to be done. The paperwork had to be checked. And Mr. Bushiri, or Prophet Bushiri, had to now verify, had to send the money, has agreed, because he had promised to say, I'm going to send you the money, but he couldn't. Hence, him inviting Shadrick to South Africa. Upon Shadrick going to South Africa, he was incarcerated. He met with the police, which later, yeah, and he was deported, and up until now, he hasn't been able to travel back to South Africa. So he was just urging to the Republic of South Africa and the government to please help him towards him regaining back his funds, because Bushiri seemed to have power and seemed to have people paid off in South Africa. So that's how the story goes. Now, the gold story is the interesting thing in Zambia, where we don't know. Up until now, no official statement has been released as to whether these people are actually involved or maybe or not. We only have a glimpse of the story with the pilot mentioning names, with the owner of the... Now, after the owner, who else is involved? Is Shadrick really involved or not?
How is he involved?
In the transaction? Maybe it's because of his flashing of gold and stuff.
And
He's linked.
And so, because the article that I read of Mwebantu said he was detained by the Drug Enforcement Commission and the Anti-Corruption Commission for suspicion. It wasn't even verified, for suspicion of accumulating wealth via proceeds of crime. So we really don't know what's happening with Mr. Kasanda. We also don't know if there's any evidence that's tying him to this gold heist at the KK International Airport.
For him to be apprehended for this long, we are just left to speculate, but we never know. We never know whether he's involved or not. But there are some rumors, again, some interesting rumors which are also emerging, which is that the god, actually the scandal goes, if the god was found, is it actually illegal, or maybe they didn't go through the proper channels of actually distributing that gold? Is that what the crime is all about? Them not going through the proper channels in regards to making such a transaction happen?
So the proper channels are certifying it with the Ministry of Mines and paying the
tax and stuff
that is required for extraction of minerals from underneath the ground. Perhaps with regard to that, I would say yes. They don't have the paperwork backing up. Imagine you have 20 gallons of 20 tons of copper sitting in your backyard, and you don't have extraction permits, you don't have mining permits, you don't have any paperwork to certify it true. I think, yes, the state has a stake in any mineral that's discovered here in the ground in Zambia minus paperwork. So, yes.
I think short break, this is just conspiracy on my end. I think this is one of the problems. If I think they should make it a little bit accessible, so that anybody can try to mine. If that can happen, if we can have a lot of Shadricks, like in young entrepreneurs, meaning that the country itself will be self. Dubai was built by sheiks. These are just billionaires, people with money, you know.
Yeah, but don't you think they have the right to mine? Sheiks is a group of people who have the right to mine on the Dubai soil.
Dubai is owned by them.
Yeah, and you know.
So what I'm trying
regulation maybe there should be small miners, but then there's going to be a regulation of miners that do the mining either.
Now the problem, I feel like they are totally suppressing anybody who tries to mine without the consent of the I must imagine the fees to get all those things done are mad.
Yes, they are.
They're mad. So you'd see a situation where the only people who have the access to do that are foreigners. Hence coming the people that will control us. Say the Americans have the money because they print their money and they'll bring their money here. The only thing they have to trade with us is their currency.
Very true.
You see that, right?
And we'll
So
exchange now gold for their
for their dollar, which is just a paper. Now, a verified paper. Now, my question is, if they give more access to citizens than the foreigners, because currently the stakes favor more the foreigners than it favors more the actually citizens. Because the foreigner who will come and, mine in Zambia, they'll have the money, the finances are there. But what happens to a small-scaled miner who's just starting up?
They have no chance.
They have no chance. It's rigged, It's only made for the people who already have access, the wealthy. It's only for the wealthy. So if this system of mining was changed to the way whereby it favored more of citizens, we wouldn't have situations where we're incarcerating people like Shadrick. If he's a Zambian citizen, he should have the right to build his capital through mining his own mineral as a citizen. As opposed to, if he's a foreigner now, yes, let's now start questioning to say, why should this foreigner have access to our mineral and what not?
Yes.
Because Mr. I like the fact that he was actually, he's based in Zambia. He has the money required for him to relocate and go to America and live in a more developed country, but he was apprehended where? Ibex.
He was in Ibex.
His mansion. Bringing development in Zambia, man. So that's just my thought.
You know what I think? I've seen African men who have been crucified for capitalizing on the wealth that we've already been given, our mineral resources. I'll give an example of Ginimbi. Ginimbi is one of the millionaires, I don't know if he was a billionaire at the time, in his prime, of dealing in petroleum. Dealing in oil and gas in Angola. You see, we castigated him. I don't even know the circumstances behind his death, but I think it was with regard to his business. And I'll give another man called Prophet Hubert Angel. He was in recent times, I think a couple months ago, Al Jazeera put him out and said, the gold mafia. So we equally have our own gold mafia in Zambia, Mr. Shadrick Kasanda, as our mafia in Zambia, dealing in the gold heist at the KK International Airport.
Yeah.
I feel the problem with our African people is that we are punishing a man for being successful by exploiting the natural resources that God has given to us as Africans. But we're rewarding and clapping for the foreigners who come and exploit our resources and take the money and export it out of our country. Instead of us putting a man like Cassandra and say, okay, Mr. Cassandra, we have seen that you as an ordinary Zambian are an outlier. Ordinary Zambians are going to get a 9-to-5 job and die and return, ask for NAPSA or ask for money from NAPSA and their pension. But then Cassandra is a man who is an outlier, who has gone beyond what an ordinary Zambian can achieve in a lifetime, in his early 30s or mid-30s. I don't know how old he is. But in his 30s, he's been able to acquire millions and still keep the money in Zambia. Let's ask him and query him. What was the secret to your wealth? Teach the young Zambians. Let him teach in University of Zambia, Lecture Theatre 1, or the Copperbelt University is the grandest theme hall, and see, okay, how should a businessman arise in this way and empower many of the Zambian people who are going to be born from time now to 2030. Let us not punish and castigate a man like Mr. Kasanda, but let us praise him.
True, because I honestly believe that should be the case, because if you look at the mineral, the natural resources, it's a different story if we're talking about Pablo Escobar kind of situation where he's trading in drug.
In drugs, yes, drugs are...
Drugs,
you're right.
He's actually, you'd argue, the argument would go like, okay, he's actually promoting drug abuse. But this is not a story of drug. This is minerals. These are mineral, natural resources. If you are a Zambian, they should put stipulations which give us power as Zambian citizens to have access to our own minerals and trade as we feel outside. These are not drugs. He wasn't human trafficking. No. And instead they say he was human trafficking, he was exploiting and stuff. But if he was just trading honestly in gold, the natural resource that we have, then we should be able to celebrate people like that.
Yeah.
Citizens like that who are bringing development, change in how we perceive growth of money and finances.
Yeah.
Unlike incarcerating them and treating them like criminals. If it was dragged, I would have been on the forefront of saying, oh yeah, it's actually polluting our young people. But no, this is just gold. Now, there's another claim which was being made to say the gold was actually fake. That's the reason
gold
why.
was fake.
Yeah, that's the reason why they're receiving a lot of backlash by the government. But I think this is just a plot which was just created by the government, right? Or not the government. This was a conspiracy theory created by people who are trying to lock up these people, right? To ensure that they are locked. So, apparently, there's a claim to say that the gold was fake. It wasn't real gold, pure gold. It was just a mixture of, there's what they call fake gold. I don't know the correct term, but it's a combination of copper, aluminum, zinc, tin, and it's actually called knotted gold. So this combination of these three elements, which is copper, aluminum, zinc, and tin, will make a mineral which looks like brass-like, and then it kind of looks like gold. So these are claims which are coming about to say they were selling fake gold.
Okay.
Yeah.
It changes the whole argument, and it's fake gold, huh?
Exactly. So I'm thinking the claims of it being fake gold, because for him to be trading for that long, we don't know how long he's been trading, by the way. For him to accumulate all his wealth, he would have been followed by these foreigners, right? Back and forth. But for him,
Regard to him trading in fake gold.
fake gold. But for him to reach the magnitude where he reached, do you really think this argument has any claim?
I don't
has
think it
any
has
weight?
any ground. I think it's baseless, because when a multi-billionaire comes into a country seeking for gold, they do not come with a bluff. If you risk going in with fake gold and bluff, you risk losing your life.
Your life, yeah.
We're businessmen, and there's certain levels of bluff that you can walk into a multi-millionaire, and you can bluff, and you risk your entire career being,
Or life.
yeah, your entire life or career being cut short. Now, imagine a man walking into this, and how much was involved in this? Was the money counted?
Yeah, the money was released, but I haven't seen the numbers of how much was gathered from that crime scene yet.
Now imagine going in with fake money and trading it for real gold. It means you have outsmarted the person who's trading the gold. And what would that? It would sabotage and cut off. And for a person to say there's only 3 people that were arrested: the pilot, and the owner of the airlines, and Cassandra. It means
4 people, actually.
4 people.
Yeah.
It means, what about the people who were bargaining? Who were the people who were exchanging?
The foreigners, the foreign jet, that's where the foreign jet. So it was supposed to be an exchange from the plane of the other man, who's Yusuf, to the jet, the private jet, which was
So where was the private
foreigners.
jet? It flew off?
We don't know the stories of that. I don't
So
know.
there were 2 jets that came. One that had the gold and one had the money with the foreigners.
Yeah.
And then the one with them, how did the money from the private
We don't
jet
know how
go
the transaction was
into
supposed to.
but there's supposed to be an exchange, right? There's
Yeah,
supposed to
so
be like-
the other one was carrying money, the other one had gold.
had the gold. Yeah. So what I'm supposed to understand is that it's either the guy with the money took off with the money, but it cannot be that
That
the
the
person
money was-
who had the money left the money and left their gold and took off. There must be a transaction, but who was transacting?
Yes.
Now, we haven't even.
We don't know the magnitude of
There's
this story.
holes in
Actually.
this story, actually, Malo. There's certain things that were not. fully
Perhaps
being
we need
explained.
to. Perhaps we need to research more about this, and I come with the counter reaction towards what's happening currently. But my standpoint still stands. I think we should be able to celebrate these people who are bringing in, who are actually breaking the barrier of what we believe to be a norm. Like you said, situations where one is working a 9-to-5 job in hopes to make it, which is a rigged system. It only has particular people who can make it at the end of the day.
Yeah.
This is the only way we can make it as a country if we start using our resources. And we are given access to use our resources. We're given access to our own lands. Do you know the tax which council is getting off someone who owns a store right now? It's ridiculous, all these things that you're supposed to pay off.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. It's as if they don't want you to own the shop.
Exactly, boy.
It's as if they don't want you to own the shop. And if you're a Zambian citizen, you ask yourself, why am I paying a lot of tax to be also taxed like this? You know, we're paying ridiculous money. At the end of the day, when you're paying off a shop which is costing like a 5,000 kwacha, you find that you're paying all these extras of the fire, the city council. There's also the health.
There's health
certificate. All this will accumulate to you paying to about a 10,000 kwacha.
Very true. It means they're just suffocating us.
Yeah, in the city center. And who owns the store that we're renting currently?
The Indians.
The Indians. You know, the Indians, most of them, okay, maybe through being born in Zambia, they're now eligible Zambians.
But they're still not Zambian.
They're not native Zambians.
They don't speak our language.
They do speak our language.
Oh, okay. They don't.
They're not native Zambians. They migrated Zambians, the migrants.
And you know, the honest truth is that this person would not care if they saw you in the streets begging. They wouldn't. Okay, maybe they give.
They give arms.
Okay, but they're not Zambian. Is what
they're not
I'm
Zambian.
trying to say.
Like our skin currently doesn't own our own city center, which is town, the one that we call town. No. We don't own it.
No, we don't.
Most of the stores, the shops that we have there are being rented. We rent from Indians.
From who? The Indians.
From Arabs.
From Arabs.
Who are given access to buy our own property.
Our own property.
And if a Zambian will come up and own 2 or 3 property, they'll follow you.
They'll follow you.
SCC will follow you.
Dec will follow you. Where did you get this money from? But why?
But why
are you making it so hard for us as businessmen that are born Zambian? Why are you making it so hard for us to earn a living? The state is making it hard. The council is making it hard. Even business itself. Business is not easy.
Yes.
Business is hell and high water. You have to survive and swim. It's either you sink or swim. That's the plight of the Zambian people. I feel the step in order for us to encourage entrepreneurship, the step to encourage businessmen should start from now. We should start giving incentives for us to, encourage businessmen, people to not go into the 9-to-5 direction, but to get into business. This is not 1965 where we're supposed to get an education, apply for a job and get the job. No, this is 2023. Things have changed. Things have changed, and hence the state and the government have to change according to what's happening. And so Mr. Kasanda and these other businessmen should be encouraged instead of being demonized.
Demonized. Like, it's a crime when the government says, no, according to our laws and stipulations, you're not supposed to trade like this and stuff. But if you change those laws, it's no longer a crime.
No.
So let's change those laws. As long as you're a citizen of Zambia, let's have access of our own minerals.
Yes.
As long as you're a citizen of Zambia, let's have the privilege to enjoy, because the trade should change now from us ordering stuff from abroad to us actually exporting stuff, exporting our stuff out there. What stuff can we export? These are the same minerals that we have.
Exactly.
What stuff can we export? We can create or build machineries that we can now export out there through our copper and all the minerals that we have in Zambia.
Yeah.
If only the government can put upon stipulations that will help us or make it easier for us to access all those minerals, then we've got a working system.
Malo, I think we have expressed some of the most painful things that we have faced as businessmen. And the reason why we're very passionate about this is because we are businessmen.
We are businessmen.
The reason why we're defending, we may sound like we're defending, but we're speaking facts and logic. The reason why it may seem so is because we, like Cassandra Shadrick, he was being forced into the vanet and he was like, we don't punch. Don't force me like as though I'm a criminal. I'm not a criminal.
I'm not a criminal, yeah.
I'm not a criminal.
Even as he was, as they intruded his house, or maybe they were doing their routine search towards the matter at hand, he was asked by one of the journalists to say, do you feel safe? And he said, no, I don't feel safe. Where have you been taken? He's like, I don't know, but I don't feel safe. He was publicly putting out his money, flaunting it on social media, meaning he's got nothing to hide, people.
He's got nothing to hide.
He's got nothing to hide. Aziwa.
And honestly speaking, Malo, if you were to investigate a man like that, you'd find that absolutely everything. He's not like Pamela Gondo, who has been arrested in Northern Africa. You find that absolutely none of his deals were process of crime. He didn't kill anybody. He didn't hold anybody to hostage, just like you said. He's a man that just did trade. Now you've become a criminal because you were trading in a mineral resource that your motherland gave to you. How dare you, Zambian people, do such things to our fellow Zambians? I feel we should stand united and fight for Mr. Shadrick Kasanda. Us as businessmen should rally the streets of Cairo Road and say, free Cassandra Shadrick, free our businessmen. Mal, give us our closing remark.
Closing remarks. Remember, this show has been sponsored by Z Nations, and we are still welcoming. We are welcoming people to support our platforms through advertising on our platform and sponsoring us, the M&J podcast. The two cars that we cannot see because of the darkness, being the Z Nation is the one which is selling them. We have a Toyota Vitz, which comes with how many liters of?
It's 0.9 cc.
0.9, very efficient in fuel, because the fuel prices have skyrocketed. Now we know that they're crazy and ridiculous. You need a car like this to get you around Lusaka and get you to do your daily tasks.
It's one of the most fuel efficient, but most importantly, spacious and comfortable automobiles you can buy at
100,000, 15, right?
Yes, 100,000 and the 15,000
Kwacha. Yes.
You can
So,
drive over with it.
yes, if you want to view them, just leave a comment to give you more details about them. And the S20, the Notch 20 Ultra is still on promotion, which is still going at 7,500, 128 GB, 12 GB RAM, 5G net. It's a powerhouse with the battery capacity of 5,000, with the 4,500 milliamps of battery. Make sure to visit our store tomorrow, Monday. It's going to be open all the way up to Saturday.
Yes, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share our content. Remember, minus your subscription, we will not be as big as we hoped for. I've noticed that over 80% of the people that engage in our content, in fact, over 80% of people that watch our content do not subscribe. So remember to subscribe to the M&J podcast. Be that one person who subscribes and say, I think I'll be able to support our brothers because this is original Zambian content by original Zambian creators. So subscribe to our YouTube channel. We have our TikTok pages, and we have our Facebook platform very soon, and our threads as well, so you can be able to engage in our content on a daily.
Yeah, and encourage us to give out stuff with more subscribers that you bring on the channels. We're gonna be encouraged enough to give away a lot of things as the M&J incorporated with Z Nations. You know, phones will be given away.
And look out for all these other promotions as we continue sharing this content. Remember, my name is Jerry.
And Malo.
We are signing out.
See you on the next one.
Peace.
Peace.
It's a wrap.